Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. He was the #1 U.S. stock market timer in the January 2020 edition of Timer Digest. He's speaking to us from Arizona. Welcome back to the show, Mark.
Glad to be back. Thank you,
Mark,
Jim.
you still have that special offer for our listeners?
We do, and you go to VRTrader.com. That's Victor Roberts. Like, it's actually volume reversal. That's what it stands for, VRTrader.com. And you enter the promo code 2020 half off 2020 HALFOFF, and 50% off of anything you sign up for. It's not forever, but for the period of time that you are signing up for. So thank you.
Mark, we know that you're not only a contrarian, but also a skeptic about what we're hearing from the so-called official media out there. What's your current thinking on what's going on with the markets?
Okay. Well, we got so much going on here. We know that we have economic problems. We've got the Federal Reserve printing like crazy. We've got NASDAQ into new highs the last couple of days, and even though the other indexes haven't followed, and optimism seems to be jumping around with leaps and bounds here, the way people are buying stocks. We can't fight the Fed, and there's an expression, the market is always right. And if you don't believe that phrase, you repeat it, because no matter what you think, the market is going up or going down. That's what the market wants to do. And, perhaps we are going to, as I believe it, experience some type of, pullback. But the powers that be, or whether it's the home gamers, people out there, individual investors playing stocks, it seems like they're hell-bent to continue this recovery in this bull market at some point, if not right away, during the third and fourth quarter of the year, and seeing new highs in the major indexes, probably will unfold, and maybe even substantially higher than where we were at the end of 2019. And whether that stays that way to 2021, 2022, that's a whole other question. We don't go out that far. Right here, I'm a bit on the bear side, short term. I just think we had a technical breakdown a few days ago, one of these island reversal patterns, negative volume in my work. Cyclically, we're right in the time frame here for a little bit of a problem. I do follow some alternative cycles, as you know, like looking at where the moon is and so forth. And we also have a summer solstice coming in and a solar eclipse actually the next couple of days. And, sometimes these events, we've charted them for many, many years, are sometimes coincident with change of direction points in the market. A classic example was the vernal equinox in mid-March, which was within, 10 days of the big bottom in the stock market. And, here we are in June, and we have another potential change point, so we may have already seen the highs for a while. So we're just going to take it a day at a time here and see how it unfolds. And but to answer your question, I'm a bit of a skeptic of what you hear and see out there, and I'm looking at my cycles and looking at the volume, and I think we're a little overdone here. So let's see how it plays out. But I would suspect if we do get a little shake, there's probably a trading buying opportunity for those who are real aggressive. But I wouldn't hang around too long, because this whole period, the expression "sell may go away," where we're entering a generally, troublesome period between now and the fall. So it could be a very choppy market, and perhaps with a downward bias, particularly as we approach the election. And the election, of course, here in the U.S. is a big factor. If Trump doesn't get reelected, I think it's an understatement. I don't think the stock market would like that very much. So or very aggressive traders buying some out-of-the-money put options, into November, for example, just as a hedge, probably makes some sense because if he doesn't get reelected, I think there could be a few thousand points to the downside, and if nothing else, a nice trade.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, are you expecting a market correction, and what's your overall game plan between now and the U.S. election in early November?
Yeah, I think we've just pretty much touched on that, Jim. Basically a trading perspective, very short term. I'm actually short the market here via inverse and ETF, and whether it's a 2-day trade or the beginning of a multi-week trade, we'll just see how the numbers unfold. I think there will be a downward bias. It will get more accentuated, I think, as we get into the summer, July, August, September time frame in terms of the greater risk of a, correction. But there's still a lot of stocks to trade out there on both sides. So, there's still plenty of opportunity on both sides of the market. So it's a trading opportunity. I think a little bit of a downward bias here, and I get a little bit more bearish as we get further into the summer. And again, I'm probably repeating some of the points I had repeatedly made. And and backing up to your first question, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're not hearing. The stuff going on out there. You hear day to day, minute to minute, the Wuhan virus, they call it the COVID-19. I still like using the original term, but we've got some unreported missile attacks in Iraq and South Korea that are not getting any press. There's apparently some border battle going on between China and India. There's U.S. ships have had some skirmish in the South China Sea, with what's going on over there. So there's a lot of stuff going on that we hear more about the riots in the streets, and we're not really, discussing, whether a lot of this stuff was planned to begin with. It doesn't seem to me that all this is just pure accident, that suddenly this virus appeared or suddenly there's riots in the streets. I think a lot of this was just like financial engineering helps move stocks. I think there was some political and other engineering going on with regard to why all these crazy events suddenly hit us this year. And I'm not playing conspiracy theory. I mean, the facts are, and we've stated this before, a lot of major corporate executives resigned last year. They felt something was coming. I think hundreds of them resigned. There's some statistics showing a lot of insider selling of stocks in December of January of this year before the crisis really hit. So there's a lot of shenanigans going on in the background. So the obvious is not really the obvious. The obvious is we got a virus and we got some riots in the street. What's not obvious is what's really behind it all, and unfortunately I think it's not very positive at all in terms of where our society is headed and what the powers that be had planned for us.
Could some of this social unrest not just be related to racism, but the fact that a lot of people lost their jobs?
A lot of people lost their jobs, being confined to your home, the isolation issue, the shock of it all, the fact that we've got lost a lot of our personal freedoms. A lot of this had to do with, pent-up resentment and, as you say, a financial component to it as well. Absolutely. So, the looting and burning and, a lot of these people are paid agitators. We've already learned that. These are just not every average person on the street is out there doing it because they want to break windows and create a problem. I'm being instigated by troublemakers and stuff. So there's a whole other component to this thing. But beyond that, I think you're right. A lot of young people are frustrated, and this is one way to vent their frustration. So follow the herd. Some people will riot. Why not go out and have a blast? It's a groupie event like they're doing in Seattle, where they block off streets and they're having a block party out there. So crazy times.
Yeah, and it's just like rebel without a cause. What are you revolting against? What do you got?
Right. I think a lot of them just joined it because it was something to do at the time. Some maybe are staunch believers in the race, argument, or others are just out there because, either not working or they're frustrated. But a lot of it was instigated, I believe. It wasn't just as random as we all would like it to, believe or hope that it would be the case. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's like the Vancouver hockey riot several years ago. When that was investigated, they found out most of the troublemakers were not from Vancouver. They were from someplace else.
Right, that's what they found in this case, too. So, a lot of bad apples, a lot of bad players, and a lot of this starts at the highest levels. Names like George Soros, who's out there for years, with his various programs, investing in nothing but troublemaking programs, trying to change society, globalists, and the book burning, the tearing down of statues, the destruction of our history as if it doesn't matter. These are being instigated at the highest levels by people who want to change our society, want to, at least here in the U.S., destroy the Constitution and the values that, created the country. So we get some really bad players out there. So, first step is to get rid of these people, not the people on the street. You got to get rid of the people, the troublemakers who are funding this operation. Unfortunately, they have so much power and money, it's not going to happen so quickly. You can throw Bill Gates into that category as well.
Has the market rebound been financed by, I don't know how much of a degree, but by all of these inexperienced new day traders who think, oh gosh, the market can do nothing but go up?
Yeah, what's that the platform, Robinhood?
Yes.
Is that the name of it? Yeah, a lot of young people, a lot of speculators, a lot of people were at home, and they found out, it's a brave new world out there. You can trade stocks on the computer. Of course, we've been doing this for decades, but there's definitely a component that a lot of the move in the market was a retail-driven event. And we say this because many institutional investors that have been interviewed, really did not, at least they say, didn't really participate in the decline or the advance. They were just sort of there holding their breath, and I'm sure some did, but the vast majority, had allocations and portfolios for their clients, and these people don't tend to trade that often anyway. And a lot of the action came from probably the small traders.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after the break.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Mark Leibovit. Mark, what's happening with gold and silver in your work?
A little bearish on it. I've been a little bearish here for a couple of weeks or so. They got way overdone. Just a trading comment. Though my gut feeling is, we could have a big run up, but that run up may not last when it does eventually happen. All those that are looking for the big numbers. Of course, there's new highs in other currencies that we're talking about in terms of U.S. dollars, seeing new highs above that 1922 level, which for the U.S. would be a new high, but that could be a big bull trap. I mean, they could run through that number, run up to 2,000 or some big number, and then a year or so later we could find gold down 50% from those levels as deflation, which is what I think is one of the greater risks that we have could unfold, which could affect gold, silver, stocks, real estate, and everything. We'll find out in the next year or two if my theory is even correct about that. We should see it in the tape, and we should see some trading signals to warrant, action in that regard. But the short-term comment is looking for a pullback here in the metals, and there should be, some trading bottom here almost at any time this summer, and then we should have a run-up into the fall and early winter, and that might be, the play for the year. So not currently long here, looking to get long. And, if gold dropped $100 or $200 an ounce from here, that would give us a great opportunity. If it happens, maybe we won't quite go that far, but I could see more of a correction, and if we get a nice shakeout in it, that would give us, an opportunity. And also keep in mind that gold and silver, particularly gold, doesn't necessarily run contra the stock market. If you notice during the little crash we had in March, gold came down, gold stocks came down, they all came down together. So if we do experience a shakeout between now and the election, you may find gold and silver not the inverse indicator that everybody was hoping for.
What other sectors are catching your attention?
We mentioned a few last week. I still sort of, trading bias bullish on the cannabis stocks. Many of them are very cheap, more of the bigger names, and we liked some of the uranium names out there. We talked about that. Some of the infrastructure names, Trump's trying to get a $1 trillion package passed, whether that'll happen or not, to rebuild roads and bridges and so forth. Some names in the infrastructure group, like the steels and the concrete stocks and so forth, are attracting our attention, and we've been, putting those on our list and trading some of those as well. So, off the top of my head, those are, I guess, sort of my favorites, and the gold and silver when we do hit some type of bottom here, hopefully this summer.
Mark, can you tell us about your special offer once again?
Sure. Anytime you'd like to sign up, we are offering you a 50% incentive. That is at vrtrader.com, and you use the promo code 2020 half off 2020 HALFOFF. And thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us.
My pleasure.
My guest has been Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as vrtrader.com. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.